Hello everyone. This was a good week of chapters, with all of them moving their respective arcs along. One Piece stood out the most for me. Here's the spoiler warning, and we're starting off with One Piece, chapter 1013. This was a great chapter, with the battle inching ever closer to the climax. It starts with Nami still wanting to take on Ulti for what she did to Tama. Usopp tries to talk her out of it, but to no avail. Ulti gets back up and dodges Nami's attack. She's about to crush Nami's skull when Big Mom brings out the big guns by combining Napoleon, Prometheus, and Hera for a super attack that pierces through Ulti, knocking her out. With Ulti out of the picture for now, Nami, Usopp, and Tama try to run away. As they do, we see that Zeus saw what the other three homies did and realizes he was replaced. He then sees Nami and hopes she'll take him back, but she turns away from him, having not forgiven him for what he did. Big Mom notices Zeus and tells Hera to eat him to grow stronger. Zeus begs for his life, but Big Mom doesn't care about him. She then grabs Tama to protect her, quote unquote, from the Straw Hats as she winds up to hit Nami and Usopp. Zeus breaks free from Hera to apologize to Nami and try to save her. He says he's all alone and that before he dies, he wants to at least have one person not hate him. He charges up as much power as he can to attack Big Mom. He doesn't get very far as she grabs him and sucks out most of his soul. Nami tries to help him by feeding him one last time so he can run away, but he's too drained. Hera then eats him, effectively killing him. Tama then gets back to Nami and Usopp and they start to run away again, but Big Mom notices and gets angry that Tama's leaving her. She's then about to attack when Kid shows up and blocks the attack before throwing her to the ground, setting up Kid versus Big Mom. The chapter ends with a shocking total defeat of Luffy, who was thrown off the island by Kaido, who seems to be upset that Luffy failed to live up to his hopes, as well as that he didn't get evidence that he killed Luffy, leaving the Raiders with the hope of victory. The twist at the end was unexpected. Having Luffy lose so decisively was something I didn't see coming. I'm not sure how things will go from here, but it's starting to feel like Luffy versus Crocodile, where Luffy loses twice before winning the most important one. I don't know when that would be, but I'm going to assume it's after the Flower Capital is destroyed. A bit of a prediction of mine is that Kaido is going to see that they are close to the capital and decide to wait. Yamato will then confront him and Kaido beats him down quickly, bored of this whole thing. Big Mom killing Zeus also shocked me, as I didn't see that coming either. Now, I'm not sure how Nami is going to compete with the others now, but I don't think she's meant to. So we'll see if she can one-on-one someone later on. Overall, I'd give that chapter an A. It was good seeing a lot of different pieces falling into place, like Big Mom being the third enemy for everyone, making the whole war a three-way fight, and Luffy being defeated should mark a turning point in this arc. So now we're on to Undead Unluck, chapter 63. This was a good chapter with the quote-unquote conclusion of Shen's backstory and sort of arc. It started with the aftermath of Andy and Shen being impaled, with Andy going on the offensive and attacking Fang, as he was disappointed by Shen's sacrifice. We also see that Fuko gets involved by shooting Fang, who catches it with his toes, but is pleased that she seemingly grew from despair. We then see that Shen has an out-of-body experience, being able to see Mi, his sister, again, and apologizing to her. We then see that Fang pushed Mi off a cliff after they fought. Shen tried to save her, but became a negator at that very moment, and because of that, he dropped her. He wants to be with her again, but Mi tells him not to because of Mew. It then shows that he lost to Fang after Mi's death, and was going down the wrong path until he met Yu and her brother. It continues showing how close Shen and Mew became, with Mi teasing him about being in love with Mew. She then tells him that he has a chance to come back to life, and that as much as she would like to live with him again, she wants him to live happily. He then wakes up, which surprises Mew, as he asks her to kill him. So I have no idea what that means, unless it has something to do with the negator power, to which I still have no idea what's going to happen. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good seeing a conclusion to Shen's obsession with being the strongest. Also seeing him get some semblance of closure for what happened with his sister was nice. So now we're on to Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 62. This was an interesting chapter, as we learn a bit about the main villain. It starts with the villain, who is seemingly called Innocent Zero, so that may be his name as well as his group, but I'm not sure. He stops time for the whole arena and walks up to Mash, saying that he is Mash's father. and that he wants him back. Wahlberg, the headmaster, steps up to stop him. One of Innocent Zero's men tries to fight him, but Wahlberg's sheer presence makes him afraid. Innocent Zero then steps in to protect his man. Wahlberg asks why he's doing all this. Innocent Zero simply says that he wants to be powerful, young, and live forever. That response really angers Wahlberg, who tells him that Mash won't be his, as the two seem to prepare to fight. We then see that they're very powerful. They're both three-lined wizards, meaning they each have a god. We then see each of their gods that they have. Wahlberg having Uranus, god of the sky, and Innocent Zero having Kronos, god of time. So the battle should be insane if that happens next week. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was cool to see the two head wizards face off against each other. We'll see if they actually do fight or if something or someone stops them, which I can't imagine what that would be or who, but you never know. Also, I wonder how Mash will fit into this, as now he's the chosen one. So now we're on to Sakamoto Days, chapter 23. This was a good chapter, as we learn more about Shin's backstory, as it starts with Asakura asking if they want to escape with him. Lo thinks he was the one who had her kidnapped when she hears he's the boss. He tells her that he's been locked in the cell with her, so how did he make the order to kidnap her? She then wants to know everything he knows about the place. He then explains that a group of assassins took over the lab, and he got locked up for refusing to help them. She asks why she's there, then realizes her kidnapper was there with them, and starts choking him, asking why he mistook her for Shin. Asakura is stunned to hear Shin's name. Lo asks if he knows Shin, to which he says yes. He then explained he didn't always have powers, and that he was seemingly left with him by another scientist who disappeared. Sakura was researching superpowers and was also attempting to raise Shin. We see how their relationship was improving when Shin accidentally drank Asakura's concoction and gained clairvoyance. It shows he would read everyone's minds, and as a kid, he would blurt out what he heard in their heads. After a while, the other scientists thought it was creepy and avoided him. Asakura tried to cure him, but Shin liked the powers and was glad Asakura's research worked. But Asakura still thought that he hurt, quote-unquote, Shin with the power. Shin told him he didn't, but had enough of everyone in the lab and left. That was the last time Asakura saw Shin. Both Lu and her kidnapper were crying after such a sad tale. Lu then tells Asakura about Sakamoto and that if they apologize, everything should be fine, seeing as that's the family rule. Asakura gets motivated and they begin their escape, though only Lo seems confident in it. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was good. Seeing Shin's backstory was nice, as well as seeing them begin their escape. Like Asakura and the kidnapper that's with them, I'm not confident in this escape attempt. Though with Sakamoto, you can never be sure. I'm assuming that was it for the backstory, so next week should be everyone making their way towards each other or towards the enemies. So now we're on to I Tell C, chapter 15. This was a fun chapter as the heist game began. It started with the police panicking, trying to search for Mare. Sekon goes and helps, and for the remainder of the chapter we see things, quote-unquote, through the eyes of Hamura, as she tries to piece together what's happening. So they seem to fall into every one of Mare's traps. From a fake Mare splitting up the police, turning out the lights and using voice recorders to disorient everyone who remained, stealing the keys to get the painting she wanted, and escaping by walking on the ceiling, which the chief figures out that she uses hooks that are pre-installed in the ceiling and holes in her shoes that fit into the hooks. She adds saying that her excellent core strength also leads to her being able to do it. She makes her exit by blinding everyone with one of the beauty bombs she used on Riza before and crawling through a vent. She texts her ride that she's coming, and we see that Riza is her ride. So that should be fun. I also think the fake Mare was either Sekon or the criminal guy from last week, because they got away from the cops, as well as Mare saying she got them from her website. So I'm assuming Riza's plan is going to work, that she placed all of her people as Mares from her website. So Mare feels safe using her getaway attempt with all of her quote-unquote people, but in actuality, it's Riza's people. Overall, I'd give that chapter a B. It was fun seeing all of Mare's schemes work, and from the perspective of someone who wouldn't figure it all out. It'll be interesting to see if Hamura stays close to I Division or not, as well as if I Division gets more people at all. So that's all the chapters. It was a pretty good week with everything moving steadily forward. One Piece stood out the most for me, and maybe Mashle, just because of the tease for next week's Clash of Titans. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching.